07 everybody. Welcome to another Dragon tutorial. Today we're going to discuss the communication techniques within simulation mode. The biggest complexity with simulation above all others is the severe lack of situational awareness. As a result, there's a dense fog of war that penetrates every corner of the map. The team which is best able to collectively peer through this fog is usually the one that's going to prevail. As a simulation pilot, whether a seasoned vet or brand new, you have an important role to play. Every death can contain meaning beyond your demise. Every kill can spread valuable intelligence to your wingmen. Every report can prevent a lot of wasted energy. Today I hope to discuss the finer points of each report, describe the meaning beyond their superficial words to reveal their deeper intent, and demystify when and where their use is most beneficial and appropriate. So let's go over a quick list of the most common commands and discuss when they are used and what they mean. The first thing to understand is that the words themselves are usually meaningless. As an example, follow me does not mean that you literally want everyone to follow you around. Instead, it is used as a form of position relay that also indicates an assumed lack of enemy presence. Basically, I am here and I'm pretty sure there's not an enemy out here with me. Cover me does not mean that you require assistance always. It should be interpreted as I am here and so too is an enemy, and I'm 100% sure of that. So here I've drawn up a list here of the different commands. We've got T41, which is follow me, and it's used to reveal your position and altitude. Now, when it gives the altitude, it'll actually give it in whatever units the person reading it in chat has selected, whether it's in meters or feet. And it'll put a little position symbol on the map that's different from the T42 follow me, which gives a little shield. So a couple of times to use T41 follow me. If you hear the words attention to the map and you open your map and that attention symbol is anywhere in your immediate vicinity, you want to say T41 follow me, because we're going to get to that later, what attention to the map can possibly mean when it comes from your allies. But basically, you're telling your team, hey, that's me. Now, T42 is a little bit more complex. It's the same thing as T41 follow me, but T42 instead it generates a little shield symbol, and what that shield symbol is going to convey is that not only am I here, not only is this my altitude and position, but I am right here with an enemy. Like, if you're wondering where the enemies are, they're here. And T42 is most often used whenever an engagement is about to occur. If it's more of an offensive type situation where you have the advantage and you have the leisure of, dictating the terms, oftentimes I'll use T42 and then I'll open up the map and I'll say attention to the map, so people can see not only where I am but where the enemy is relative to me. Because here's what happens: you say T42, people look at their map, they say, oh, that's off my right side. Everybody looks off their right side and they see two dots. So they know one of those dots is you, and they assume the other dot is the enemy, but they don't know which one's which. But if you say, hey, T42, and then just north of me, attention to the map, now people know, okay, the shield is him, and that attention to the map, that's got to be the enemy he's talking about. They look over there and they say, well, the shield's to the south, that dot's to the south, the attention to the map is to the north, that dot's to the north, so that's dragon, that's the enemy. And you can kind of feed that intelligence slowly to your teammates as they come to your assistance. Now, you may ask yourself, well, why would you call for cover if you're on the offense, if you're about to kill an enemy? Well, here's the deal. In the simulation, everybody's talking, everybody's calming, everybody's trying to work together. Teamwork is OP, please nerf, right? We've all heard something akin to that. So if you shoot an enemy, what do you think is the first thing that they're going to do? They're going to scream for cover. And their team is going to hear that call. They're going to know where you are. Not only are they going to know where you are, but they're going to know what you are. They're going to know what altitude you are. And they're going to know that you are on a post-attack egress type of situation. So they're going to look in that general vicinity, they're going to see a little dot climbing, and they're going to see Wingling Dragon and a BF-109 just killed, player A, and they're like, that dot right there that's climbing, that's Wingling Dragon, that's his altitude, and he's in a BF-109. Like, they just got so much intel off that one little thing, and you never called for cover. So the entire enemy team is now heading directly for you, and your team is blissfully unaware that the engagement even occurred to begin with. So by calling for cover, you alert your team to the presence of impending conflict. And in so doing, you get them oriented towards your direction so that they can, even if they are not required, they begin to congregate and concentrate into that general vicinity, so if their assistance does become necessary, they are able to respond. So whenever you see an enemy, you assume the enemy said cover me, you also say cover me. If the enemy team shows up, hopefully your friendly team does as well. If you refuse to use cover me, more often than not, what you're going to find is after you kill an enemy, you get bounced by 1, 2, maybe even 3 enemies, and you're like, well, where's my team? Well, you never called for them. That's where your team is. They're scattered all over the map. They're scattered to the wind. One more thing that I wanted to discuss when it comes to cover me, T42 cover me, and this is for pro pilots, new pilots, I don't care who you are. If you die and the enemy that killed you is still in that area, first thing you do is say cover me. Even when you're falling from the sky, you're on fire, it's giving you that countdown saying that you're about to be ejected from your plane, whatever. If you aren't at the spawn screen yet, you can still call cover me, and that position symbol still goes in the correct place. Just because you died doesn't mean the battle's over. The fight is still on for your teammates. Help them out. Give them one last call. I died here. Now, follow me is oftentimes used in head-on engagements as well. Let's say, for instance, you are going nose to nose with a dot, and you have no idea whether it's friend or foe. You've got no intelligence about it, but you guys are rapidly closing with each other, and the time to squeeze the trigger is rapidly approaching. That is a good opportunity to say follow me, because it could be a friendly. And sometimes you need to start squeezing the trigger before that friendly tag's going to pop off. And in a head-on engagement, oftentimes depending on the aircraft, depending on the position of the sun, depending on how the clouds are going and everything like that, you may not be able to identify the target, or even if you can identify the target, it may be a captured piece of equipment. You may be able to tell, hey, that's a BF-109. Turns out it's an American BF-109. Psych. So the thing that you want to do in a head-on situation where you're not sure if it's friend or foe is, as you get involved in that head-on situation, T41 follow me, and if you have the presence of mind, open up the map, click on where you think that person is distance-wise in front of you, and say attention to the map. Hopefully, if it's a friendly, they'll see that attention to the map, they'll flash their map open, and they'll be like, oh, that's my friend that I'm head-on with, and you guys can break. And in a head-on engagement, anytime you have a nose-to-nose head-on collision, the universal international standard for head-on collision avoidance is a turn to the right. So if you're about to ram into somebody, if both of you guys turn right, you're less likely to actually run into each other. Now we've got T43 return to base. T43 return to base is not necessary a lot of the times. If you're just, if you're in a bomber and you just dropped your bomb load and you're going to go back and go home, and this is like the 12th trip you've made, you don't need to alert your team that, hey, I'm on my way back home. You could just go home. T43 is a polite response to somebody's calling for cover. There's nothing more annoying than being in the game, calling for cover, and somebody saying, no. You're like, dude, why did you even say anything at all? Like, why are you in this multiplayer game if you don't want to actually, work with your teammates, right? You don't want to say no, you want to say why. So if somebody knows that you're right there, you've been kind of going back and forth, working with one another, sort of tag teaming the enemies, and they call for cover, and you're not in a position to help, that is when you would want to respond T43 return to base. And then you can include and further append upon it bingo, Winchester, or damage to further explain why you were unable to help. Alright guys, I wanted to amend one more thing into the video, and that's going to be, somebody brought up in the YouTube comments, returning to base is T44 and leading for landing is T43. And he said, well, you know, returning to base is what you should say when you're heading back home, and leading for landing is what you should say when you're, you know, coming in to actually land. And I think superficially, like on the surface, I totally agree. If we had a congested traffic pattern or anything like that, that would be advantageous for sure. However, in War Thunder, we don't. Nobody's really, you know, hogging final. It's not like we've got an organized like flow of traffic into the airfield. There's plenty of runways to land. There's plenty of room to land on the runways. And there's one major advantage that you get by saying T43 leading for landing that you don't get with returning to base. When you say return to base, it only says the words. That's it. That's all your team hears. When you say leading for landing, it says the words, which essentially mean the same thing. They're synonymous. I'm going into land or I'm heading back home. Like, they're both the same thing. But when you say leading for landing, in the chat, it'll give the grid square and your altitude. So it's adding extra information in that your team can use in order to like have a little bit more intelligence on you, and they can say, okay, we are now slightly weaker in that grid square, or that guy right there that's heading towards my base that looks like maybe he's, you know, going into airfield strafe, that's Dragon and he's heading back home. Also, somebody else in chat brought up Winchester, bingo, and damage, which is words that I say. You can say these with T commands, which are T45 and T45 for repairing, or I'm sorry, for reloading, for your ammo or your fuel. So if you say T43, I'm leading for landing, T45, reloading, you know, now you can kind of quickly say what it is that you are out of. Or you could say T48, repairing. So that's just a little extra information to address a really viable YouTube comment about the difference between returning to base and leading for landing. I use leading for landing because it has extra useful information that returning to base does not, and since they essentially mean the same thing, you might as well use the one that has more information attached to it. So thank you for those comments. Thank you for that feedback. I'm gonna slice this into the already existing video and then re-release it because I feel like it was important enough to actually change it. So, you know, if the guy next to you is like, hey, cover me, and you're like, returning to base, bingo, and he's like, okay, I got it. Like, if you come to help me, you're gonna die because you don't have enough fuel to help me and make it home. Or Winchester, which means I'm extremely low or completely out of ammunition. So even if I do come to help you, what am I going to do other than ram into the enemy? I can't actually shoot him. Or damage because half of my left wing is ripped off. You know what I mean? So I can't really come over there and help you all that much. So T43 is a nice response. It's a nice, tactful, polite response to your teammates' urgent calls for cover to let them know not only that you're not coming, but why you're not coming. Now, attention to the map, we already kind of got into this one a little bit. Attention to the map is activated by just simply opening the map and then left-clicking any position that you want. And it makes the symbol very similar, exactly the same actually, as T41, follow me. And that's important to realize because if somebody says attention to the map, you don't want to always immediately respond, follow me. You typically want to give it a good 3, 4, 5 second lag time so that other people who are looking for that attention to the map symbol don't get confused with your follow me and the attention to the map. So if you say attention to the map because you see a contact, maybe you see a group of contacts, and you're just not sure, you know, if it's friendlies, if it's enemies, if it's bots, if it's bombers, you're not quite sure what you're looking at, but you're curious and you're probably going to go investigate it. That's when you'd want to open up the map and be like, hey, attention to the map over here. Just kind of guess the bearing off of your aircraft and guess the distance as best you can and chuck a little mark out there. And sometimes you'll get a response back from your teammate saying, oh, hey, that's me, follow me. You know what I mean? And now you know. So you don't waste your time going over there, or maybe you go over there to go and join them. Another instance to use attention to the map would be if you're in a bomber or an attacker and you're taking off with enough ordnance to completely defeat a mini base, and you want to alert your team that, hey, I'm here and I'm going over there to go bomb that thing. So follow me, attention to the map. And it kind of reserves that base for you. Polite bombers will realize that you've called attention to the map and be like, okay, that's his base. Let me not waste my time going towards the same point. Let me go to the other one that's next to it. So those are some good attention to the maps. Now, this one is a little bit more advanced, but if you have the presence of mind and the extra workload to be able to say, cover me, then attention to the map, like we talked about earlier, those are good combinations to do. Like, hey, T42, follow or cover me, and then attention to the map. So I am here and I'm about to try to kill that thing. Smoke. People use acrobatic smoke a lot in simulation. It's very good for just visually acquiring things. Now, me personally, I'm a bit of a sneaky snake, and I actually use a single column, a center column of white smoke. It's the most realistic smoke in terms of colors. It's not like hot pink or purple or green or whatever. And the reason I do that, if you guys have ever seen me do it, is it actually gives you the appearance of an injury. It looks like water leaking from your engine to the untrained eye. And oftentimes I'll kind of use it in head-on merges where I score a good hit on the enemy, like I know I got a critical hit on them and they didn't touch me at all, but they got close. I'll pop my smoke on as soon as we blow past each other, and when they turn around and find me, they see me leaking water. And even though I may have the advantage, even though I may have gotten a good strike on them, they might have decided to run, like dive and run and and leave the fight. And they may have had the altitude and the energy to do so. But because they turned around and they saw that I was injured, now they're like, oh, maybe this is still kind of an even fight. And they sort of dedicate themselves to the fight more so than they otherwise would have, and I can sort of keep them in the fight a little bit longer. That's one instance that I use smoke, but the more often is just to help my teammates find me. Now, this is a desperate measure. If you're using smoke in a fight, a lot of things have already gone wrong. It should not be your go-to. It should not be your plan A. This is smoke in a fight is like, I am dead in the next 20 seconds if you don't come down here and save me now. Or I'm literally dying. I am falling out of the sky. This is where I am. This is my last desperate attempt to get you to find me so that my death is not in vain, because the person who killed me is now very low altitude, very low energy, and he's right freaking here. Come kill him, right? So those are the times that you would use smoke. You're calling for cover, you're down in the trees, you're weaving, you got two dudes on your tail, they're just chewing your airplane apart, and you've been calling for cover and you don't see your teammates yet. Pop your smoke on. Guys, I am here. And then that person who's above you may be at 6,000 feet, and he's looking down in the trees, and he's like, I'm over you, but I don't see you. I don't see you anywhere. Where are you? Bam. All of a sudden he sees a smoke trail, and he's like, that's them. You know what I mean? And those little dots of aircraft are going along the trees. He wouldn't have seen those, but he sees that white, snaky smoke, and he's like, okay, cool. The guy that's in trouble has smoke, and in that smoke, that's where the enemies are. So that's a good opportunity to use smoke. The rest are mostly for team organization and just appreciation. It's T11, attack the A point. So in the heat of combat, with the stress of sim, with all the comings and goings that's happening in simulation simultaneously, it's very easy for a novice pilot and sometimes even expert pilots to lose focus of the objectives. And sometimes those A points will pop up, and they are extremely time critical. Like, you cannot really dick around with those A points and realize 3, 4, 5 minutes after the fact that they're up and be able to make up for it. It's like, when they come up, you gotta get there. You gotta turn for it almost immediately and get there as quickly as possible, hopefully before the enemy team, and start gaining altitude. So it's hyper critical that not only you are aware of the A point, but that your entire team becomes aware of the A point as quickly as possible. T11, attack the A point, is supposed to draw your team's attention using auditory methods to the presence of a fresh A point and announce your intentions to challenge that A point. Your team, in turn, should respond with their attack the A points as well. So hopefully you hear a whole symphony of attack the A point, attack the A point, attack the A point from 3, 4, 5 unique individuals, and now you have a kind of passive idea of how many numbers you can expect of team members to be there helping you in the A point. And, kind of your teammates can sort of also gauge the strength of what is going to be challenging that A point, and other people in other areas of the map. Maybe somebody's on the other edge of the map from the A point, and he's like, you know what? I was going to go to the A point, but it sounds like 5 people are already responding to it. That should be enough. I'm going to kill the scout plane instead. A lot of little extra decisions around the map can happen like that if you use that, hey, go attack the A point. Let everybody know that you're going to go do it and that it needs to get done. T21, defend the A point. This one's a little bit more special. This one is, I am already in the A point and we're losing it. So maybe we have 3 people in the A point and the enemy has 4 in the A point. And you guys were winning it and things were going good, but now the enemy has 1 extra plane and they are unwinding your progress. Now, anybody who's not actively in the A point has no idea that that's happening unless they are in the grid square. So you might have 2, 3, 4 allies outside of the A point that are on the way, but they don't have that little piece of intelligence that you guys are now outnumbered. And that can be helpful to them because it can help them determine, maybe they need to take a little bit of extra time to climb. Maybe that person that they assumed was a friendly is actually an enemy because they look at the A point as flashing blue. Hey, I must have control of it. My team must be doing very good. All of a sudden you say, defend the A point. Now they know, oh, A point is actually under attack. That dot might be an enemy. Maybe I need to reevaluate my approach here. So defend the A point is to alert your team that the capture point is failing and more help is required if they want to actually successfully capture it. Those are some of the most important objectives in the game. As far as like scoring victory points and ensuring your team's victory and finding kills and things of that nature. Air dominance in the A point is probably the #1 objective that you can complete. And you don't have to be an ace fighter pilot to contribute to it. Simply being there and robbing players' energies, reporting their positions, and alerting your team to, the extra assistance possibly required within the A point can go a long way. T34, T46, that's just respectively thank you and excellent. It just shows some appreciation for, the team members' action if they came to assist you. This is a team-based game, and a lot of people are going to go very far out of their way to try to help complete strangers. It's just nice if, somebody saves your bacon, just give them a thank you. If you see somebody pull an excellent shot, just say T46, nice shot. In Sim, you'll notice there's a lot more maturity in the player base. There's a lot more cohesion in the player base. The player base is much smaller. Reputation matters. Now, you'll see a lot less complaining about things like kill stealing and stuff like that. Most people, more often than not, are just happy to see the conflict end victoriously than they are worried about their kill-death ratio. So, if you're hot on an enemy's tail and, it's not going the way that you want and some friendly comes buzzing through and just absolutely engages that enemy, show a little appreciation. Like, maybe it was your kill, but this isn't RB, this isn't arcade. Like, the sooner the enemy dies, the sooner your entire team can collectively start climbing and watching out for each other. And so ending the conflict more expeditiously is more important than ensuring that you got your kill, right? So those are the different commands most often used in Sim and kind of what they mean beyond just the words that they actually say. And we're going to play a couple of example videos here of some engagements, some recent engagements that I've had that kind of show a lot of this stuff in motion. And I'll sort of show to you guys where I'm doing these commands and what my intended message was for my team. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just play some of these. I'm leading them northbound. So I'm trying to call for cover. I'm describing to my team.
Both of them pretty distant.
What is behind me? Times 2 on my tail. Defensive. They're distant. I'm going defensive. And I'm calling for cover.
Trying to Rob's energy now.
I've dragged them low. I'm trying to get them low and slow. Trying to set my team up. Like, I am not going to kill these 2 guys. I'm probably going to die to these 2 guys.
He's low and slow. He's on the deck.
Bam. He's on the deck. He's here. My teammates are on the way. I pitch up after
with
the
this
guy.
109. He's trying to climb now.
I'm not going to catch
right
him.
here.
Attention to the map. That's where he is, guys.
Alright, boys,
You're
we
in a
got a
fuck wolf. You
P47
Go get
can't
him.
turn
here.
fight already.
So I've already called
No,
attention to the map.
I am able to turn with the P51s.
I'm coming
if I
to
drop my,
help somebody's
flaps.
cover me message, and I've said attention to the map, and I'm diving on his contact now, coming in
This
to
is the
help.
bad P51 pilot, not with the good one, but with the bad one.
P47's going down.
Nice.
And somebody shows appreciation, well done. And I say T41, follow
Killer
me.
break for that.
That is another one that I want to talk about that I actually forgot to mention. When you get a kill, that is a very good time for you to say T41, follow me. The reason is that kill message appears in the bottom right corner. It says Wingling Dragon killed so-and-so. When you say follow me, you tell your entire team, that action, that, player killed player, that thing that just happened right here at this altitude. So if your teammates are out there and they're all scanning and they see all of a sudden somebody fires some tracers way off in the distance and they see a flaming ball, they're like, is that friend or foe? Does that person, is that like, did my friendly just die or did the enemy just die? And then they see follow me from Wingling Dragon, and then they see Wingling Dragon killed so-and-so, and then they look on the map and that follow me corresponds to that fireball they see in the distance. They're like, cool. That's my team's success out there. Now here in this example, you'll see we've got a little 3-ship formation. I'm telling Panzer Killer, break for that contact. This contact right here is coming in head-on my friendlies. Neither one of my friendlies see them. I'm alerting them to that because my 3 friendlies were all chasing this guy. So my 2 friendlies break on this fella here, and I continue after this guy. And you'll see I'm live discussing with my team. We're in a Discord chat. So I'll be able to tell Crab Nation to avoid this enemy that he doesn't see. Panzer Killer breaks
Crabs,
for the
left
contact.
side, left side, cut. Break, break, break.
Crabs breaks.
Good break.
Avoids,
He's on my tail.
narrowly avoids that.
He's pitching up for you,
We
Panzer
leave
Killer.
a 2-on-1 situation there.
And our other FW-190's turning around now. I'm sticking with
FW-190
him.
up ahead is breaking around to try to help his ally that came to help him.
I'm on him.
And that is why I did not break off of that contact.
Is he still on me?
Yeah, watch out. Are you going up right now?
The
Alright, now in this situation, I've got a head-on. There's an enemy here. I've already, in this situation, it would be good for me to have clicked on the map and said, hey, attention to the map, because I don't know if that's a friend or foe, but I'm now turning off course in order to not give this guy a complete head-on. So now I've added some deflection. I'm going this way, he's coming in from this way, and I'm going to maneuver in behind him after the initial merge. But at this point, I can kind of realize by the silhouette, that's a P51 head-on with me. And as soon as the merge occurs, you'll see me say, cover me, to alert my team, I am here, and there's a P51 right there. Now, they don't know that I see a P51, they just know that I see an enemy. So, T42, cover me.
P51 engaging. He's high,
Running
I'm
there.
low.
Describing my position to the people on Discord. He's high, I'm low. If they look over here and they see my cover me, they're going to see 2 dots. One's up top, one's on bottom. The one on bottom is me. Got it. Clear, concise, efficient.
Damn, man.
Out here, I'm about to hit. P51's down.
Yeah, you got him. Alright, I'm on the,
There's a BF-109 as well, enemy BF-109.
Bam. I've killed one, but the fight's not over. So, normally I say, hey, when you kill somebody, you say T41. And that means, hey, I'm here, I've just killed that guy, and I'm pretty sure there's no... Remember, T41 means I'm here, and I'm pretty sure there's no enemies here with me. Well, I just got a kill, I'm still engaged, I know for a fact there's still an enemy here, so instead of saying T41, I say T42, cover me.
I see him. He's over top of me.
I'm turning around with the Spitfire into A point, so if anyone is in A point and want to kill free flying low...
XP Ascender just joined the fray.
Got the 109.
Maybe he's on U-Wing now.
I see the F6F and he is on me, yep.
I'm turning on him, I'm turning
breaking.
on him.
Bam. Merging with an F6F, going defensive on this guy, T42, cover me. I've already called for cover just like a minute prior to this, because that was another enemy that I had killed earlier, and now I'm merging with a second one. I am here, so too is an enemy.
I got the F6F
Going up and under, and
defensive
I'm
on him.
gonna pick him up.
I got him in a little helix here, and I'm going offensive on him now.
I shot his tail a little bit.
F6F down.
Nice shot.
Some of the enemies, I'm dragging 2 BF-109 south.
So I'm talking to my team. I'm in a P-63 and I'm running. I'm dragging 2 enemies and I'm telling them what direction I'm going. I opened up my map. I can see my little arrows heading southbound. I'm dragging 2 enemies southbound. I call out my position, need cover. Now you see here, my need cover doesn't have an altitude with it. That's because that's mine. But if you see everybody else's call, not only does it say the altitude that they're at, but it says it in the units that I measure in, and it gives the grid square. So,
Found. Here.
bam. T41 follow me. I've got a chat spam, so I can't use cover me because I
Havoc,
just
I'm
used
diving
it
in to
before.
help you. He disengaged.
BF-109's, yeah, disengaging. I'm coming around.
109 smacked into the ground. $190 heading up for somebody. Check 6. 101, never mind. 190
Got
spun
my
out.
109. Got one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm on top. I have heard a cover me call, and I've been orbiting over it, about 5,000 or 6,000 feet over it. Now, if you look down into this, you can't even see that aircraft. Like, there's an aircraft right here, but just my zoom levels, I can't see the enemy on his tail, and I can't see him, even though I'm directly overhead. But I can absolutely see his green smoke. So he's been calling for cover, and I've told him, I need you to pop your smoke on, dude. I can't see you. He pops his smoke on.
yeah, Rochelle, I lost sight.
Alright, copy, I'm coming down.
And just
Oh,
now,
is he just
I'm
on the
able to see
ground now?
aircraft.
He's on
He's
you.
in the
Break,
trees.
break,
Yeah, I
break.
see it.
If you can, give me a left turn. Perfect. Stand
Tell
by.
the
5 seconds.
ally what direction you want him to go to set you up.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we're sitting at 2 kills right now. Alright, hold on, right here. Here we go, BF-109 right there.
Bam. I am here, and so too is an enemy. I see that dot. I am 100% sure that is an enemy BF-109. I saw Dr. Doof in a BF-109 kill Headseeker. That was that friendly that was over here dying. So I see that happen. I see the BF-109, and I'm like, cool. I know where this just happened at, and I'm telling my team, I am here, so too is an enemy.
Watching this guy right here. Check my tail, good to go. BF-109's turning hard. Got him.
Alright, now in this situation, I've got 1 and 2 BF-109s on my tail. I'm in a desperate situation. There's my engine's hot, I'm low on ammunition, 2 enemies on my tail, I've got no altitude, I've got no speed. Good luck to me. This is desperation right here. If I don't do something about this, if my team doesn't come to help me, I'm as good as dead.
Oh, no, there's 2 BF-109s on me.
I'm headed your direction, but I'm far.
Yeah, you can try to run north wing.
Yep.
They're telling me now, my teammate, that's a really critical thing that is so good when you're working with wingmen is when somebody's flying defensively, tell them what you want them to do, whether it's a left turn, whether it's a right turn, whether you need them to descend, whether you need them to start climbing, whether you need them to slow down, whether you need them to go northbound, westbound, eastbound, southbound. However they need to maneuver in order to set you up to have the advantage, you want to communicate that to them. Because to the person who's in a desperate gunfight, they probably don't really care. Like, they're just cranking and banking and doing random stuff and, like, flying under bridges and whatnot. So if you give them a predominant direction to move, they are more likely able to be able to set you up for success.
Running north as much as I can.
Running north as much as I can. So I'm not immediately able to turn north, but I'm working on it. And now I have an objective. Now I have a general direction that I know I need to head in order to get assistance.
Yeah, they're still both
expedited.
on me. I got white smoke coming on. Single
popped my
column white
smoke on.
smoke. I'm down in the trees running northbound.
I pop my smoke on and I describe my smoke to my team. I've got a single column white smoke coming on, running northbound through the trees, low level. They're right behind me. That is descriptive, it's quick, and now my team is like, Bam, there's white smoke. It's down in the trees. It's moving northbound. I know that there's 2 BF-109s in that smoke.
Here.
Oh, you're
Calling
no
for
longer
cover,
42?
giving them an updated position.
Just got one on my tail confirmed. He's right behind me.
And here comes somebody to help me.
Oh, I think I see you now.
Alright, starting to go defensive. One of them just broke off.
One coming in high 6.
Right, nice.
And my ally blows
Nicely
his
done,
wing off,
Draken.
saves my bacon. So that's something that you want to keep in mind is like when you're in the fight and when you're close to the action, you know who the ally is and you know who the enemies are. But the people that are a grid square, 2 grid squares away from you, all they see is a bunch of dots doing this. If you describe to them, if you're on voice channels with them, if you're on the Discord and you hop in those allies or access rooms and just start, you don't have to know everybody by name. You don't have to have rapport with every pilot out there. Just be descriptive. You know, I am here. I've got 2 enemies on my tail. We're low level. We're running northbound through the trees. One of them just broke off. If I'm 2 clicks away from you and I'm watching 4 dots and I see 1 dot go shoo, and you tell me in that moment 1 enemy just broke off, that's an enemy. Like, you just told me so. Now I know all those dots, I still don't know who's who. Maybe the one in the front is you, but that one that just boop broke off, that's the enemy. And I can track that, and I can start setting up for that engagement really early. So that's just kind of the ins and outs of, you know, communication, working with a team. You don't even have to be on voice channels with pilots. It is very helpful, especially for people alerting you to people coming down on your 6 and whatnot and giving you calls on when to brake, like I did for crabs. However, 90% of what you need to say and what you need to hear within a sim match can all be handled with judicious and disciplined use of T41, T42, you know, T33, T11, T21, like all those different commands that can communicate a lot of intent with very few words and tools and whatnot. And you know, so the tools are there. Try your best to use them. Try your best to use them appropriately. Those are my general rules and like my honed techniques that I've been, you know, kind of preaching for the last 5 years. If you have any ideas of your own of ways that you use messages to communicate more passively with some random public flyers that might be out there in order and to good effect, I'd like to hear them in the comments down below. So that's just a little bit about sim and communication. I hope this helps. I hope this makes your teamwork journey a little bit easier. And for those of you guys who are looking for wingmen to be able to get voice comms like we have here today, the Discord has over 2,600 pilots now. It's the largest simulation Discord that I'm aware of in existence for War Thunder. And we've got looking for group functions on there. We've got channels, voice channels. We've got voice activity channels, push to talk channels. We've got small rooms, large rooms. You can tailor your experience however you wish. Maybe you don't want to be in a room with 8 other people. So, you know, there's rooms that only have spots for 2. And, you know, you can oftentimes, like, we'll fill up and we'll have people on both sides of a lobby, and we'll have an Axis room and an Allied room, or we'll have a Warsaw room and a NATO room. So that way you can have 2 different teams and 2 different voice channels and whatnot, and everybody can just have a good time. Because it's just fun to fly with you guys, whether it's with or against you. You know what I mean? So that's one of the main reasons I'm not in a clan, is because I like being able to join lobbies on whichever side. So maybe Crab Nation is on the Axis team, but there's no room on the Axis team. So I hop in the Allied channel and I go join the Allied team. And I'd rather fight against crabs than not fight at all. You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, that's the long and short of it. If you have any questions, please come over to the Discord. If you have any comments or disagree with anything that I've said, I'd love to hear it down in the comments. And again, if you have any ideas of your own you know, communication techniques that you use in combat to good effect, I'd love to hear them. Thank you for watching. Take care. 07. Fly safe. Good hunting.